504radio.com, a Power Coast global communication company.
Hi, I'm KC, and today we're going to talk about art, the art community in New Orleans. We have probably some minor issues here. We don't have enough of the community seeing art. We don't have enough of the community involved in artwork here. We need to get you guys out to the studios, the galleries, and come see some artwork. Today we have Gustavo Duque, who is a world-renowned artist, and he's going to give you a little information about himself.
Oh, thank you, Casey. Thank you so much. What I can say, I'm from Colombia original, and I love New Orleans because 22 years ago, I made my first show with Herman in New Orleans, and I love this city. So I'm so excited about this show because it's in St. Claude, it's in the Bywater, where is my studio. So I'm very excited for this show. It's about, they're called Africa in Africa. We have different artists, and we have a coach for National Medical Fellowship. We try to raise money for them, and that's just all of the show.
So you're speaking of the African art. Okay, you traveled to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen a lot of the art, and you were inspired by a lot of the art. Your work is inspired by a lot of African art as well.
Yes.
Okay. What are some of the pieces that most inspired you?
First of all, we went to Morocco and we spent 1 month. We traveled the whole country. So when I started painting about Morocco, Matisse, the famous artist in 1900, he was there. So I was there in almost the same place. He made the sketch and the painting. So when I come back and I start to painting in my studio, my wife, Matilda Alberni, she came and said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm painting about Morocco." He said, "But you're talking about what?" I said, "The country." He said, "No, I see the people, I see the color you saw over there." So that changed my mind.
Right.
I checked completely my mind because and I start to remember what the landscape I saw, what are the faces I saw, what are the colors I saw, everything about the people in Morocco. So he said, why we not extending the whole collection to the whole continent? And that's why I have maybe 30 paintings. I'm working for this show for 1 year and a half, and I have 40 drawings for the show.
Yeah, so you speak of Morocco, and also I noticed you have a piece that is called the Royal Guard.
Yes.
Okay.
It was in Rabat, and the beauty of that painting is because it was in the mausoleum, it's correct, about the father of the king, right, from Morocco. So, and the guy that now look at me, the guy that only moved the eyes, so I can do the photo. So, so I'm going around here and I have different angles. So the beauty of that painting for me is I don't use the pencil. I know drawing before. I went straight from the brush to the paint to the brush to the canvas. So I tried to get his expression because his expression was so cold. It's a god,
right?
Yeah, so for me that painting is, I think, I catch the right moment when I took the photo. Right. So that's one of my favorite paintings.
Yeah, and also you also capture something probably subliminally because the Royal Guard also has a dark history.
Yes. Yes, yes.
If you don't know about it, Google it. But they were also called the Blackguard,
Oh, really? Oh, I never know that.
which one of the sultans enslaved some of the Africans, and they protected the sultan.
Oh, wow. You know, Africa.
Which he was a very vicious sultan at the time.
Yes.
So unfortunately, Africa is full of very sad and cruel stories. Really.
Yeah. And so, I mean, inside of your work, I also noticed you have a lot of emotions in your work. You display a lot of emotions. I see that you display tragedy. You display terrorism in some of your artwork.
Yes, yes.
Is a lot of that stems from you being a native of Colombia?
Mm-hmm. We are from Colombia original. But you're right, because one of the when I check all my paintings, and I invite everybody to come to see this show to the internet, and then if you are from New Orleans or you are in New Orleans, come for the New Orleans Art Center. But the beauty for my collection is about almost people. One of the most impressed for me is when I saw the kids that played together in the Medina, in the neighborhood. The Medina is the market of the city. So when they are growing, all they are completely separate. So I have one painting, there are two women completely lonely, and another when we traveling from Rabat to Marrakesh, I saw another woman that are completely lonely. They are looking the ocean, they are looking the water. So I try to catch the soul of the people.
Exactly.
That's the purpose.
And I see that in your work, and I see that you depict not only the dark side, but you kind of like you want to promote the positive side as well and help people to come out of that dark side.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has hope. And I think, especially in Africa or anywhere, people have struggled, especially in Africa, they are struggle in many ways, and sometimes because of political, sometimes with the environment. But people there look not happy, but they have hope. So I try to paint in that hope for the people.
And that's why I really want the people to see that there's a lot of emotion in art, and you can promote certain type of emotions, you can bring out certain type of emotions in artwork. And when the person comes to a gallery, he looks at the canvas, the box, the piece of paper, whatever it's on, and they just look at it. But there's emotion behind that. There's a connection. There's an emotional connection to the artist because they promote that, they push that through their art.
And that's when an artist knows that he succeeded. Otherwise, if there's no connection, if
Correct.
there's no response, then that was nice wall. Thank you so much. Bye bye. So yes, you need to know that you have made some reaction.
Yeah, so we need people to come and experience that.
Yeah.
Experience the artwork.
You know, what you said that one, for first time I think in my life, my professional life, being an artist, I use fabrics.
Right.
And different kind. I use
Silk.
I never painted in that kind. I use cardboard. I use beautiful fabrics. This is true. One of the artists, Matilda, she brought to try to make the sofa and to change the color, and she never used it. So I want that one. He said, why? Because this is perfect for my paint. He said, you want to paint it on top of that? I said, yes, I want to paint it on top of that. It was my favorite. It's one of my favorite painting, and I did in fabric. So, because it's color. You see, Africa is red, it's orange, it's blue, it's everything is about color. I think in the African people try to represent what is inside through the colors. That's just the way I see it.
I mean, it's like music. Music has colors.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like
yes.
in keys of piano, there's certain emotions that come out with each key. Each stroke of your brush, there's emotions.
Oh yeah.
There's colors. So Matilda, so tell me, the artwork that he has produced for you.
Oh my
I've
God,
seen-
that's the best.
I've seen a portrait. Tell me about that.
Because I am so lucky that I can say, okay, that's mine. That doesn't go out of this house. So yes, he has produced wonderful work. Something I admired immensely on Gustavo is that he's a true artist. So he will start doing something and experiment and go beyond. Yeah, most of the artists I know will get encaged in subject matter, me, or production, media, or whatever. He doesn't. Right? He goes in circles. Comes back 10 years later and experiments again on a subject that he did 10 years ago, or imagery or whatever. And he just keeps on going, and he just reads the newspaper, talks about life, talks about the world, talks about what he feels. Yeah. So I'm very lucky.
Yes, you are. And I guess it's a match made in heaven because you both are artists. So you do art as well. And what type of art do you do?
I complain. I complain a lot. That's what
About me too.
So yes, you got me on a good day. So what I do, my work especially is about women. Needless to say how much we have suffered and all of that. So that's what I have worked particularly most of my life. When Gustavo did the art show, the Artist Rage, I had recently seen, because I like conceptual art, and I like information. And we had recently seen a show in Barcelona about this data placed as an art piece. And I was just blown away. I could not believe what I was seeing. I loved it. I wanted to do something like that. So when he did the Artist Rage, I went on that path and I did a piece for the Artist Rage for crimes against humanity. And I enjoyed it very much. So this time, I'm doing something about Africa as a continent of high extraction, which is unfortunately had been the path of Africa for the last 500 years, 300 years, 400 years. So that's what I am doing. I'm doing Africa as high extraction, and hopefully it's going to be a piece that is beautiful, but at the same time, information is coming out of it, a critique is coming out of it, and a piece of thought.
But the beauty about that piece is not only, but the beauty of Matilda art for me is because it's about the research, what happened in the special to the human beings or to our beautiful landscape or continent or piece environment. Thank you. So that's the beauty of that piece. Is when the people that see the Matilda work, everything is about numbers. Everything is about that's true. That's not because Matilda said that. It's because no, this is the number, and I get from this one, and this is true. That is the beauty of Matilda work.
And it's fun to do the research. So I like that part.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you are working on the Africa in Africa in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And and it will be shown at Mr. Herman's place, Herman Crone.
Yeah.
You are the owner of the New Orleans Art Center.
Yes, I am. So, about 20 years ago, we met Gustavo. Do I need to look any direction or anything? Okay. And when we first saw Gustavo's paintings, we knew he was a very passionate painter. We thought maybe he was very, very religious. We weren't sure, but we knew it was very, very emotional. And it's growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger, and very proud to work with him again.
Right, and you also have not only just art, but you have different artists, as far as musical artists, at your event, at your place as well.
We are here to promote people who have the passion to create, and whatever it is, we'll try it if we can.
Yeah, and that basically you refurbished the place after Katrina. Before Katrina was based in a medical center.
Medical center, and it's full of water when we got it, broken walls, and we hopefully we're making it look pretty.
So you were dedicated to the art industry,
we are,
art community.
My partner Tina Duran and I are very dedicated to having a place for artists to create and exhibit their passion.
And we need more places like that. We need more people like you, so artists can have a venue. The artists, some at home, some have working galleries, but there's a lot of talented artists that are just sitting at home and don't know what to do with their artwork.
We've shown 12 artists that live on our city block. We've shown over 100 that live in the Bywater. And I think there may be a few that we've missed, so we're circling back.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's
and Gustavo's local.
Yeah.
And people have been telling us our shows are getting better and better every time. I think this is going to be our best show. So
how about photography? You have the photographers come?
Have the photographers come
to show their photography work?
We have had photography, and we've had really great photography shows. Fred's a photographer. We've shown Fred a few times.
Two great shows 2 years in a row.
What is it? Photo Nola. We've had Photo Nola and the Louisiana Photography Biennial have been in our place, and we've had
it's a curated show.
Many photographers in New Orleans have shown there.
Okay. So you have Fred Hustler, the hustle man of the photography.
That's how I got here.
Your background in photography.
So my background in photography goes back to a good old Kodak Brownie that I had when I was 7 years old, and I've been doing photography forever. And I had a darkroom through med school, and then career got busy, and patients got busy, and 2 kids and a wife, and a wife and a wife and a wife and a wife.
Same wife.
Same wife though. So 46 years. So I put it off for a long time, and then retired from medicine, and really have taken up working on it much more seriously. A couple of years ago, for a birthday anniversary, we went to Africa, and I spent about a month there. Shot a lot in Kenya and some in South Africa and Zimbabwe, and came back with about 10,000 images. It's been a headache to collate them and clean them up and pare them down to 12 images that Gustavo kindly invited me to do. For a long time I was trying to figure out what to do with the stuff. And when Gustavo's idea came up, and having known Bill Bertrand for 45 years, it just seemed to mesh. Gustavo liked the images, worked on them, got probably the best printmaker in town to print them, and they should be interesting. And they reflect the nature in Africa. To me, Africa was nature, was sunset, was sunrises, was the storm, was the tree alone with a cloud, was the lonely tree in the falls, was the Maasai looking out, scouting for lions. But I have only a couple of wildlife photographs. And those that are there are because they're very meaningful as far as the relationship between a mother lion and a small lion as they go down the path towards, I don't really know where, but they're leading somewhere, or the cheetah coming down a tree watching their cub, or a giraffe that's early morning trying to pick the only tree in miles, and we're sitting there looking and saying, you know, poor giraffe, I mean, that's the only tree she can chew from. And it's 6 in the morning, and you know, we're cold and hungry, but we see this and you forget everything. It's like, it's 11 o'clock at night, and it's a lot of the excitement just, I mean, I had trouble sleeping. The excitement was day in and day out and day in and day out. So Africa to me was nature, was where all this stuff got started. If it weren't for Africa, we wouldn't be sitting here. I mean, doesn't matter who you are or what you are or where you come from. If it didn't start out there, we wouldn't be here, and that's what Africa meant to me. And so, you know, thank you to Gustavo for inviting me. It's a treat. And I'm in very good company, so hey. You know, and Herman's been very supportive of photography. Some of my best friends have sold stuff at his gallery, and so it's, you know, we appreciate that. It's not too often you get somebody to welcome you when you're not a well-known, very connected artist. So it's been great. It's been a great experience. A lot of work.
Well, of course.
Great, you know,
Takes a lot of work.
but if you don't work, if you don't sweat, you know, you don't deserve it. That's what
Exactly.
And you put a lot of money with photography. You have to buy certain lenses, things of that nature.
but that's, you know, that's
You know.
it's the sweat and tears that does it. You know,
And it's the artist behind the lens.
the money comes and goes. It's the
Right.
it's the hours of work. that
Yeah.
does it. So it's been great. It's been good.
And there's like we say, there's a lot of emotion in those pictures as well.
It is. It is.
You know, some people may look at the picture and say, "Oh, it's just a giraffe," but you know what happened at that moment,
That's right.
and you captured that moment.
That's right. Yeah, and those are memorable moments. I mean, that's stuff that, you know, the day I die, it'll be with me.
Right.
I mean, I'll remember.
It's various forms of artwork. You know, from metal to wood to canvas, paintings, whatever. There's so many, and
And poetry,
exactly
And poetry.
music.
music, absolutely.
And we need to get together and form a cohesive group and build that.
And New Orleans does that. I mean, it really gives you the opportunity. The people you meet, it's like all over. I mean, you know, it'd be great. I mean, I don't think Matilda can describe what she's doing. You've described what Gustavo has done, but difficult to describe what she's done. But that really makes you think.
Right.
And it makes you think like, you know, no, really. I mean, it's like, you know, what part of this inaction is mine, and what should I do about making it different?
Right.
And can you make it
And can I? And the next question is, can I do something different? But at least you got to question yourself.
And you should, yeah.
So you basically you're a doctor of photography.
Yeah.
You're Dr. Photo.
Oh, please.
There was a friend of mine that calls himself Photo Doc, and he's got their website, so you know, I came to that.
And speaking of the medical field, we have Paula Mejia.
Very good. Yes.
All right. And basically you are helping medical students.
Yes, yes. So National Medical Fellowships, first of all, we're so grateful to all these wonderful artists and to work with the Art Center here for this beautiful exhibition, Gustavo, Matilde, Fred, and Dr. Bertrand, to give us this opportunity to put NMF's mission out there and to celebrate beautiful work, the beautiful work that you guys are doing in the spirit of helping students accomplish their dreams and their goals. Since 1946, National Medical Fellowships has been providing scholarships and support to underrepresented minority students in medicine and the health professions. We've awarded, since 1946, 30,000 scholarships. We've the equivalent of $40 million. Today, we have over 18,000 alumni across the country. Here in Louisiana, we have about close to 350 scholarship recipients, all minority medical physicians. And this is important. Most of our students that we fund are first generation to go to college, let alone dream of becoming doctors. So this is really important to them. If you think about that and you think about your family and the people that guided you along the way, many of our students don't have the mentors or the father who was a cardiologist that guides the student and shows them how to do it. Our alumni are the family for these students. We are the community for these students. So we not only give them the dollars to help them through school, but we also give them a community of physicians. We also give them, we provide a community of physicians for these students to help guide them through the process. The average family, the average income of the families that we fund is $45,000 a year, and today medical school costs $65,000 a year. So if you think about that, most of our students are graduating with $300,000 and $400,000 worth of debt. And many of our students want to go back to the communities where they came from. And so it's a huge deterrent. So that one student that's thinking about being a doctor and thinking about being $400,000 in debt, just in medical school alone, it becomes impossible for them. And so we help them make it a reality. And so what these wonderful artists are doing are not just helping our students, but getting the word out there and letting people know that National Medical Fellowships is here. We've been here since 1946, and we're going to continue to be here to build that next generation of healthcare leaders.
Very good. Very good.
Well, 72 years, that's all about.
That's right. Oh my God, you see? We're the same age.
It's in the car, it's the same.
Public, so.
He's not afraid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, the art community can help people like you and medical students and other agencies, organizations. So, I mean, what we need to do to form a cohesive group to help in the art industry to help people.
Somebody.
Okay, I think it's very important to have really something to say. I get anxious when I don't see something to say. When it's just splashing, I don't imagine that going too far. So, in order to say something, you have to get involved, and in order to get involved, you have to feel, and in order to feel, you have to have empathy and being there. So you have to be part of the community in order to say something and be able to produce something of worth. That's, I imagine that. I have seen, sorry, one second.
Yeah.
I have gone into little restaurants and I have seen little pieces placed in there, not major technique, no nothing, but they talk to you and they get you by the heart and they make you go, wow, this is amazing. I think we need, and I know we have it, but maybe just not being scared of saying it.
So you think we need to go out in the public and have some free events and do some seminars?
I wasn't thinking of that, but that would be very helpful too. I was thinking of how do you do, as a private person, becoming, many artists want to become public.
Yeah. Well, if
And
we do that, they can also be introduced to the artists
That's true.
because they need to be in front of the people.
That's true.
So we need to get out in the community.
And New Orleans is a wonderful place to do that because
Right.
New Orleans embraces, yes.
And once they know you, then hey,
But the other thing is example, what happened when people like you or everybody in this table and Thomas and John that want to make exposure for what we're doing.
correct.
And example, some people, and I think some people call me, oh, you put this together, or you're a great artist. First of all, I don't feel like I'm a great artist. I am an artist, period. But My opinion is, I don't do this because I want recognition. I don't do this because I want to somebody say, oh, thank you so much. No, I think I do this because it's come from the bottom of my heart. So at the same you're working, or you say, okay, we have 350 students with this in New Orleans, and then Herman say, how many artists you show? 500 already?
1,500.
1,500. So that is the beauty of people like this table. And
It's putting together an empty space in an area that's
Yes.
not very close to, that is not in an artist environment, and open the doors and say, you know, if you've got something to say, something to show, come, I'll help you. It takes that, and it takes the group of people that say, the New Orleans Photo Alliance, after Katrina, they decided, I mean, we're sick and tired of busing tables, we want to be photographers, we want to work, let's work as an alliance, let's do something, let's do a show, let's do a festival. And it takes off, and as a group,
And it's
you flourish, and this is going on 12 years, so it's that common effort.
yeah,
to- you have something to say, and I want to show it.
and another thing is, I call people like Herman and like heroes, because that is a lot of work to put one show together. It's not easy. It's so difficult. But on the other side, we need more position for the government to say, I want to help you. I want to do this. I want to do grants. I want to support the community, the art community. That's one of the most important, because if you see what happened in Miami, it's not because the people that try to make the transformation. Don't forget, art is, we can transform neighborhood. When you put a piece of art in the neighborhood, like it's doing in Bywater, that change everything. One of the more, it was happened today. One of my collector, I said, "You coming?" He said, "Oh yes." Where New Orleans? I said, "Oh, I know. I'll be there." It's in St. Cloud. Yes, I know what it is. So people don't have more afraid, is correct, to be in St. Cloud, in Bywater, because used to be people say don't go over there.
And now there is thriving.
And now it's so government, everybody that can give something to the community, a small piece or big piece, that need to participate.
Recognize the importance of it.
Of course, I recognize.
I want to say something. Gustavo's a big thinker, okay? He big plans, and Tina and I are more of the small plans. Okay? I see these 3 kids that come by every morning. When we first opened, they'd knock our sign over, or knock our plants over. Now they come by and they sit on the bench, and they're nice, and I hope that one of them gets to be a doctor.
You know what?
Well, yeah, I'm hoping they succeed.
Or maybe both like you.
One of them maybe being a doctor, you know?
Yeah.
But and then
Well, that's a big dream, I'm telling you.
let me say something. And what you do, what Thomas and John they're doing right now is, I don't know how many people that see this show in the whole world. I think it says 190 countries, that's what you say?
197.
197.
She loves numbers.
So 197 countries. People there see what we're doing here. You can do it in your community. You can do it in Africa. You can do it in Japan. You can do it anywhere. So that's the beauty of this communication. That's the beauty what we're doing here. It's not because we try to promote the show. But example, talking about the show, if we have time, is William Bertrand, the guy, he's the doctor. He spent 40 years in Africa working in the social work. That is correct? So he started collecting the mask. he don't have passion to collect, and he's no he. I think also before we start to shooting this program, and I think he go over there for any place in Africa in the middle of nowhere, and he saw a beautiful piece.
He just
I
loved
said,
it.
yeah, I love that piece. How much is that? I want to pay for that one because that money.
To support the
Yeah, to support
Or
the village.
Or
So
because he liked the
Yeah, something
aesthetics of
about
it.
to support the village. So,
And
and this is anywhere we can duplicate. Example, the photo do you have for the gallery in Africa? You can explain about that one. Where is that one?
That's in Zimbabwe, and that's you driving down the road, and I'm looking around and seeing what I can shoot, and suddenly I see this hut, and there's some pieces of art hanging, and I tell the driver, please stop, and there's this hut, and there's 15 pieces of art hanging at different, and it says it says Bush Art Gallery, and this is in the middle of the road. There's nobody there, there's no seat there, there's no vendor, there's no prices, but there's this hut with really interesting art. I mean, very colorful, very local, expressions of faces of people, of the sunset. But it's a public, it's a group, it's a general art gallery for anybody that wants to look at it, and it's in the middle of the street, going nowhere, coming from nowhere. I mean, it is. And so we had to stop it. I shot 4 or 5 shots, and it was, remarkable.
Yeah,
It was absolutely remarkable. But going back to Bill Bertrand, his commitment to local art is such that he started collecting art from a local artist. I don't remember exactly where. And after about 8 or 10 pieces, he decided to make a book, and then got a few other pieces and published a book. So he couldn't get anybody to publish it the way he wanted. So he bought into a publishing house in Bogota, Colombia. And after buying into the publishing house, he said, now, I'm an owner, we're going to do this book. And he published a book that he
Yes,
gave each
he
one
did,
of us
he did.
about the art of this young, upcoming African artist. I mean, if that ain't commitment,
yeah.
tell me what is.
Yeah, exactly.
He made it, and he put it out there so that everybody can see it, because otherwise he would have no exposure. I mean, that is commitment to.
And that's just that's he right now. I read this in the brochure for the show. He donated part of the collection to the National Museum of Colombia, the South University, the National Medical Fellowship for the year. So he wants to help people from the same, you say, the moment when he tried to help the village in the middle of Africa, in the middle of nowhere. So this is basically, and nobody's better artist than others. Talking about this collection, I start to study the painters from United States and African American painters. That's it says or American painters, and it's a movement because the color they use and it's completely different world right now. And there, I studied Picasso for many years. I studied Matisse. I studied Van Gogh was my favorite. But with this collection, I started to study them. And trust me, we have great artists in America, great painters. Besides musicians and many people that are working in different kind of art, but painters. Oh, we have one, by the way. I think I have the note right here. He's, maybe him. He's Brandon Odum. Brandon Odum. He's a student in Bywater.
B. Mike.
Yeah. So he.
Brandon Odoms.
Yeah, that guy. He made beautiful murals. So we have another.
Could be the best.
Jamal Barber, Greg Breda, and Ervin Johnson So when you Google, and you can see a beautiful work nurse.
Michael Dees.
It's another.
You know Michael Dees?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Michael Dees made 10 stamps for the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah. So
He's got a couple things in
Is it Columbia Pictures, that statue?
Columbia picture of the statue. He's as local can be.
Right. So anyway, so that's just. Please come to be this show to come to the New Orleans Art Center, and if you cannot come in because you are in another part of the world, we have right here. You can read this one, all the west sides that are part of this.
Website is, yeah.
Well, we're definitely gonna put everything on the website
Oh, thank you.
so they can have access.
Okay,
Wonderful.
thank you, and thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing this, and we appreciate that. When I saw Thomas first, and then Thomas introduced me to John, and now introduced me to you, and thank you so much. We are so humble what you do. Me too.
Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
thank
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I mean, any of you guys have anything else you want to add to it?
I think I talk too much.
I'll add that having been in medicine for a long time,
Yeah.
having trained residents from the get-go, having access to train people that don't have access to postgraduate training, or that would not have the possibility of coming to the States to get training in tertiary care and then either return or become really great physicians here. What you guys do in offering those scholarships is tremendous, because there's a lot of people that get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And so giving that option, that opening that door, getting a glimpse of hope. In Kenya, we went to a rural school where kids would walk for an hour and a half, sometimes barefoot, just to get to class.
Yeah.
And so once the class is done, what has to happen? Well, they're going to walk back because there ain't no transportation, and nobody provides shoes, and they all sit on the floor because there's no desks. But they're there and they want to learn, and you see that willingness to learn. One of them is going to be a physician one day, and for that one person, it's the hope. So you guys, that's why we do this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And health equity is important for everybody. We all win. And
You're
that's,
not kidding.
yeah, we all win
Right.
when health equity is achieved, and the students that we serve, and when they go back to their communities, or when they practice, they become a specialist in one of these really difficult specialties. Everybody wins. People are more comfortable when they are seeing a physician that comes from where they come from,
Right.
or understands the culture, and it's so important for all of us. And so we can't thank you enough. And Power, the station 504, right? Power 504, Power 504. We thank you guys for putting this out there. It's really, really important, and it puts this message out to people that access to everybody, just like NMF. We're trying to get everyone to have health equity and access to good quality health care, and you guys are putting the word out there and making sure that everybody gets this information. So thank you.
No problem. We're here to please.
I like what she just said, and it's I'm learning that one of the goals is to get more people to go see doctors, and they'll have more confidence in doctors that are from their neighborhoods. Okay, sounds great.
I agree.
Especially when there's major problems, and then most of the communities poor communities are left without any assistance. Definitely.
Charity Hospital closed. I see a lot of people in our neighborhood that haven't re-assimilated to a place to go get medical care.
On the other hand, 8 blocks away, there's a place called St. Thomas Clinic.
Yeah.
And St. Thomas Clinic, stayed strong through Katrina. And after Katrina, they offered all these services, and now they're coming into your neck of the woods, and they're on the West Bank, and they're all over.
Now there are like 7 buildings in here.
They're, you know, the guy that hired me and as a kidney doctor at Oxford is the guy that has the name up on the Donald T. Irwin building. And it's all about, you know, community service. And that's what counts.
Is that by the St. Thomas projects where those were? Or where,
That's where the St. Thomas Project used to be.
used to be? Yeah.
But now it's in the corner of magazine.
Wow, great. Great.
So,
Yeah.
community efforts, that'll do it.
So come see the show, join our community with April 13th through May 6th.
But opening is April 12th,
That's right.
April 12th, April 12th, 6 to
Come be a
9,
part of the
and
community.
6 p.m.
you can
So,
say
it's your place.
That's your
Day and time.
Special opening for VIPs on the 3rd. Come. So both days, whenever you're
The
available.
very, very first beginning.
That little dress and everything.
The address, 3330 St. Claude. We're between Piety and Desire. You can't forget that. And
Combining, sorry, sounds like a Catholic.
and is at 6 o'clock, and I think it'll go until 9.
we have
Should be a great
food, we
thing.
That's
have,
on the wine room's out.
yeah, we
the
have
wines.
wine, we had plenty food over there, so just come to visit this show, because this show is, for me, it's amazing how to put this together, and that's my reward. My reward is the people in this table and the people behind the cameras. That's my reward for the show. It's not about me, it's about everybody. And thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Power 504.
Power 504.
All right. We wrap this up.
How was it?